And we are live. What is up, everybody? Hope everyone is having a great Sunday, great weekend out there. Welcome back to A Certain Point of View. And it is our usual, Sunday show, which is now a Monday show, but back on a Sunday this week. We'll explain that. It's a little confusing. I know. I'm sorry. But it had to happen this week, and we're here, and we're excited to talk a bunch of Schmoedown stuff because there's a lot to talk about today. And we have a really, really cool guest coming on as well who have not got the chance to talk to since January. He has not been on this channel since January, before the draft even started, when nobody knew what Gold Leader even meant. And so we'll be getting to Gold Leader himself here in just a little bit. Jill, Brian, weekend is almost over. It is, I don't know what you're dealing with in SoCal, but it is storming where we are.
It is dumping.
Yeah, it's going crazy right now. But
that's just tomorrow. My allergy. I don't know if it's allergies or if I have a cold, but my sinuses are just not having it today. I was gonna come on the show today. I got a whole bunch of I got pumpkin ale and pumpkin hard cider, and I got Oktoberfest beer, and I was gonna come on here with one of those, and I was like, I'm gonna make some chamomile tea. So I've got my snuggly duckling, my little Flynn Rider.
That's a cool mug. That's a cool looking mug. Yeah, that's
my little Flynn Rider mug. I'm trying to clear my sinuses right now. It is not a good time. It's not a good time. I had a good time last night, and this morning I'm just not.
And the night before.
And the night before.
Maybe that's why you feel like poo poo.
Well, it's not like a hangover thing. It's legit, I've been sneezing all day. My sinuses are a hot mess. I'm just yeah.
I feel it. Yes. Whenever it starts to rain, all the sinuses. I'm a fall allergy person, not a spring. This morning I woke up, Jake. I had my phone in my hand, ready to text you guys. Be like, I have no voice. I sounded like this morning, and I was like, does that mean I don't have to work tomorrow?
Can I call off?
Yeah. So, oh well. No, it is. Good luck if this is your weather tomorrow.
Yeah, it's supposed to rain all day tomorrow. So
it's pouring so fast, the streets can't even drain faster than
my backyard's flooded currently. So
you've got a free pool.
Well, and yeah, so if you randomly see me jump off the screen, it's because I'll be bucketing water off my cement before it gets to my house.
Oh Lord, yeah. FYI, I'm just hoping it doesn't. I'm hoping it doesn't screw up with my Wi-Fi tomorrow because I work from home. So if my Wi-Fi's out, I'm SOL. So hopefully it's not too.
I mean, it's a free day off work, you know.
I guess, but I have ish to do tomorrow, and there was an earthquake this morning, and just
there was. I was in the airport when it happened.
Oh, you were? Oh, I woke up and I was I did the Southern California thing, and I woke up and I felt it, and I just laid there to make sure it wasn't going to get any worse, and if it was fine for me to just go right back to sleep, or if I should get up. But it was fine, so I just went back to sleep.
Yeah. No. So it's funny. I don't think. Well, I know I didn't feel it, but I don't think my family felt it at the airport. But my aunt, who lives in Studio City, she texted and said, "Did you guys just feel the earthquake?" And we're like, "Oh God, here we go! Just arrived at the airport, not starting good, and and then fast forward, and our flight ended up being canceled for other reasons.
Because the rain, or because of the?
So we had a mishap on Friday.
You're not fun to fly with, apparently, after this weekend.
Right.
So we had an early 8:30 flight on Friday to get to LA, and we were on the plane on the runway for 2.5 hours before we took off. And that's because apparently Burbank was telling us that we couldn't land, which made no sense because I was talking to Jill during it. She's like, yeah, it's not raining here.
Yeah, you were like, how's the weather there? And I'm like, I mean, it's cold, but
and then
fine.
This morning, we got notification. We're going to the bag drop off to get our bag slip and typing in our confirmation number. And we get a notification that says, flight canceled. We're like, wait, what? Nobody told us. So apparently there is a vaccine mandate at Southwest and employees are striking. And
get the damn vaccine, people.
So now
it's not that hard.
They canceled flights, they pushed flights, they moved flights around because of a employee shortage. And I spent way too long on airplanes and airports this weekend that I don't ever want to go back. Yeah,
I
it was
hate
not fun.
people.
It was not fun.
I hate people sometimes. People suck.
Yeah, it was not fun. It was very long, and I mean, look, planes are very claustrophobic, and 2.5 hours sitting there just in one spot, and then being at Burbank, Burbank is the smallest airport that I've ever been to.
It's tiny.
There's not a lot going on there, so there for 4+ hours was pretty brutal. But
sitting on a plane not going anywhere is
the worst.
One of the top 10 worst things. I will never forget. I was coming home from New York, and I had full-blown flu, stomach flu. I was trapped on the runway for 6 hours.
Yeah. Just let the people off the plane.
Yeah. 6 hours. By the time I got home, I could have flown from New York to Italy. That's how long we were on that plane.
Yeah, it was brutal. They were deplaning us on Friday, and then the guy over the speaker was like, "Oh, wait, hold on a second. We might be getting other news." And we're like, "Really? You have to go back and forth?" So, anyway, I don't want to talk about that anymore. Anyway,
you're home. You're safe.
Yes, I am home and safe.
You're driving everywhere for a while.
I will be driving to Spectacular. I'm not getting on a plane. That's for sure. I did want to bring up one important comment here. It was back a little bit just to kind of start the show off. You're damn right, Nussbaum. Go Raiders.
Sorry, Christy V.
Go Raiders.
Sports.
We're looking good. All right, so I do want to say before we get going here, as you guys can see here in the overlay right below Brian, if you guys haven't heard, Ben Bateman is going through some stuff right now. He's going through some ish. He actually has his major back surgery tomorrow, and he has a GoFundMe currently. And so everything that we get here on the channel is going straight to him. And Ben Bateman has done a lot for this community, a lot for the Schmoedown, and we just want to give back to him. So if you guys have any questions or comments for us or for our guest, Mr. Gold Leader, or anything that we're going to be talking about tonight, make sure you guys are leaving those there. Super chats as well, but there's a little bit more that comes from Streamlabs over super chats because it's better than YouTube. Let's just be honest. They take more from us. So YouTube, if you cut this off, you suck.
YouTube takes 60%.
Yeah. Anyway, let's just get to it. We have a gentleman who's been waiting in the background who has not been on the show in quite a while. Last time we had him on here, we didn't know what a gold leader was. We had no idea who this gentleman was, and he has made a name,
but not. We knew what a gold leader was.
Well, that's true.
Chat. What a
we didn't know what this specific gold leader was, but he has made quite a name for himself, and he got a big victory this past week, and he's moving on to the tournament finals in the Star Wars tournament here, and that is the gold leader.
Guys, I just wanted to take my time to say no mask. No, I'm very pro mask. I'm just joking, guys. I'm sorry.
Excuse me. The amount of times I've gotten pictures from either Molly or Zach
trivia or something.
Horror trivia. I can tell you that's a lie.
Yes. Very pro mask.
Well, welcome back. Welcome back to the show. Glad to have you here, and congratulations on all your success so far this year, man.
Thank you. I'm really enjoying it. It's good to be here. Good to be here.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I did want to say I don't know if you're a big sports guy, but also congratulations to your Braves.
Oh, yeah, I've heard. Okay, I'm not a sports guy.
I heard.
I've
heard
that
people going nuts for the Braves.
I heard.
I don't. What happened? Was the World
They're going
Series?
to the World Series?
Okay, yeah, great.
I love it.
Molly.
Jake has been trying to find Braves fans in the Schmoedown to be like, yay, and everyone is like, what are the Braves doing?
What did they do?
All I know is this is around World Series time. I used to play baseball before I was too husky to play baseball.
You're never too husky to play baseball.
That's true. The
Never
base
too husky to
himself
play baseball.
was large. No, but I played for a few years, but I did not give a crap about baseball. So I didn't know that. So good job, Braves.
Hooray!
I'm glad the team is watching tonight.
That's exactly what Molly messaged last night. She goes, "Oh my God, the Braves!" with a thumbs up. I go, Someone probably told you that. You probably didn't
You
even
probably
know what
heard
happened.
someone in passing at the
Right.
bar.
It was on the
Braves won.
news, and
Yeah,
she probably is like, "Oh yeah, Braves."
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the worst part is, she's probably gonna end up just going for funsies, and Jake's just gonna be like,
I'm gonna be so pissed.
That would so be something that her and Alex do. They would just be like, "We ended up at a World Series game."
Do you know where they're doing the World Series this year?
Well,
No.
so the World Series actually takes place in their home ballpark. So
How
no
does
way.
it?
So there will be games in Houston and in Atlanta. So
That would be really cool. I imagine it's really hard to get tickets for that kind of thing.
they're very expensive.
But yeah, regular baseball tickets are super cheap too. It's weird. Like I guess I've heard of NFL tickets being really expensive, so I was like, oh, MLB tickets must be like pretty expensive too. But it's like, no, just $20. Come to the game.
Watch a game. But then they charge you like $23 for a beer, and then that's where they get you.
I don't drink beer, Jill.
Oh,
I don't drink anything alcoholic. I drink an occasional gin and tonic, but I really like my Coke.
Good to know.
Because I'm a 5-year-old child.
You're a 5-year-old child, but you drink gin?
Yeah.
No.
It's the only thing I like alcohol.
I would be like, I'm a child. I only drink vodka when it's poured with like 9 pounds of grenadine.
Right.
Like that's like what gin? I don't even drink gin.
Gin is made from berries. It's made for children.
Gin tastes like you're licking a Christmas tree.
Yeah, it's great.
No,
Christmas is the kids' holiday. Maybe Halloween.
Yes.
Anyway.
Yeah, I know someone had said it in the chat, but the reason why there's a show tonight, everyone, is because we have our Patreon watch along tomorrow. Because I know we announced last week that we're doing Monday shows, but there's going to be once a month where this actually happens on a Sunday because of our Patreon schedule. So that's why we're having a show tonight. But I also wanted to start this conversation off in this interview with, look, we knew going into this year that you were a giant fan of everything that was Schmoedown, specifically Star Wars Schmoedown. And you put out this tape that was essentially calling out the former champ, Alex Damon, and nobody knew who you were. And they were like, who the hell is this guy?
Who's this guy?
Why is he calling Alex Damon out, saying he's his neighbor, saying he can see him across the street, like all this stuff? Fast forward, you are now going into the tournament finals. Could possibly be playing Alex in said tournament final. Has this year just been like a total whirlwind? Did you expect to kind of be in this position at this point?
No, I did not think I would get anywhere near this area. I remember like literally just sadly emailing like, I don't think it was PJ. It was somebody that I didn't recognize it like at schmoedown.com or whatever, like last November. And I was like, hey, do you guys take applications? They were like, yeah, we doing a draft. And I'm like, a draft, you say? And so, yeah, I did not imagine at all. Not only I didn't imagine that I would get in because I don't win things ever. I enter a lot of like really small scale film festivals with like people who don't know how to make movies, and I still lose every single time. So I've never won anything like this. I've never done anything remotely close to this. So not only that, but I didn't think that I would be winning games. So it's all just been, great. Yeah, I like this. I like this whole Schmoedown thing.
I like this place. I want to stick around for a while.
I'll put my feet up. How about that?
Brian, do you want to go next?
How has it been on the Finstock exchange since being drafted using said dossier?
Yes, I'm very grateful. I did not. Okay, full disclosure. When I got drafted, I was like, who is the Finstock Exchange? I've never heard of this team. I knew about corruption and I knew about swag because my outside Schmoedown experience was very limited. I knew about the Rock Stars, which is, last season.
Yeah.
But I didn't know anything. I really didn't know anything. And so no idea who Bobby Gucci was. I didn't know any of that. Thank God that I know this man personally now. And I have been adopted into his church because I think there's not a better place I could have been. Like, can you imagine if I was like a quirky merc? There's no way. It's no one else. No one else except Finstock players wear gold jackets in the Schmoedown. So
that's very perfect.
I would maybe say swag. You could
Yeah,
probably squeeze
right.
a gold jacket in there.
Sure.
I could totally see Winston getting a matching gold jacket. So like,
I think I'd be too abrasive and any other team. I think it'd be like, who's this guy talking about? Why does this guy care so much about Joe Yowza? He's the lead singer in you know that song Jedi Rocks?
Yeah.
Return of the Jedi. He's the guy, the bug looking guy. Yeah.
Wow.
Joe Yowza
today. Look at me go.
George Lucas. Everybody.
George Lucas, everybody.
Yeah.
Applause.
But yeah, that's yeah.
Jill, you got anything?
Brian actually kind of stole my question, but I will piggyback off of it. Does the dossier exist? Did they ask you questions from said dossier before drafting you into the exchange? I'm still trying to figure out what this is because no one tells me.
Have you been given stage 3 clearance?
I should be given stage 3 clearance. I should be.
Here's what I can say. Just to play it safe, here's what I can say.
Okay.
The dossier does exist. It is very real. It is tangible. I've seen it.
How has PLD seen it? Why does PLD get to see it? I want to see it.
Sauron or Saruman. Is it Sauron or Saruman who has many spies? Why would Saruman?
It's not in Star Wars. Doesn't matter.
Why does Saruman have spies? The crows, you know. But my point is, Gucci has many spies. And you don't always know where they're
okay. That makes more sense.
TLD's in our camp.
I have hung out with a drunk barbarian multiple times, and I have yet to experience the dossier, and I'm kind of upset about it.
It's real. That just means Gucci doesn't trust you. You're not on his list.
What if Sean asks because Gucci is in like love with someone?
A different evil house. He can't.
I cannot pretend to know the will of Bobby Gucci, but I do know some things. And apparently you're not on the list. So
why bother? What am I even here for?
I was asked some questions. They told me point blank. They were like, listen, we do not know anything about Star Wars. So we have a few questions. Craig caught me. It was after I think LGR. I was on Let's Get Ready. And this was when I was just, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. I looked exactly the same. But I was mentally I was different. And this dude showed up. I had heard of I had seen one interview with Barbarian like the previous week, and I didn't know who he was before that. And suddenly he shows up after we stopped going live, and he's asking me like, "Who played Watto?" And I'm like, "I don't know who played Watto." But he liked me somehow. I don't know. So the night before the draft, I texted Gucci or I DM'd him on Twitter. Yeah, this is the joke that I always get every single time I have a match. Either Con or Craig always brings that question up, and I can't say the answer because it's laden with expletives. But I was going somewhere with that.
The night before the draft, you messaged Gucci.
You messaged Gucci.
Oh yeah, that's right. And he was like, "You think you could take out Damon?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he goes, "I like that." And that was it. That was like it. Like that was the whole conversation. And then he drafted me very quickly, and I didn't know at all that was going to happen. So yeah, a whirlwind, to say the least. It's been great.
So what you're telling me is I can text Gucci tomorrow and be like, "Hey, I think I could take out Thomas Harper, and he'll take me next year."
Right. Well, yeah, exactly. That's the way. You have to have brazen, almost idiotic confidence to be able to reach.
That's how you get on the exchange.
That is the perfect description of the FinSock exchange.
Yes,
wow. It is
brazen, idiotic confidence that somehow works. It's like
you guys have the most wins in the league, like in the Schmoedown right now. You guys on paper have the most wins.
Doing pretty well.
Anti-KOs apparently is that what it's being called now.
Nice. I want to get that TKO shirt, but I feel like I'm gonna get cursed, and if I wear it, I'm gonna get TKO'd.
Right?
So I don't want to wear it until I actually get someone TKO'd.
I get it. I do kind of have a question though in regards to the gold leader persona here. Why choose a persona of an individual who dies.
Well,
in
first
Star
of all,
Wars.
Jill, listen, everybody dies. I'm sorry to be the first to tell you.
I mean,
no,
you're not. I
but
guess you're not wrong. I guess you're not wrong.
So I'm going to set the record straight once and for all. I have said this before, but people weren't listening well enough. So here's what it is. On Xbox Live, my brother's Xbox 360, back however many years, like 13 years ago, I created a profile because I didn't want to use his stupid account. I didn't want to mess. He didn't want me to mess up his kill streaks, essentially, on Modern Warfare 1.
I get that.
And so I created my own profile and I called it, for some reason, Gold Leader 10. And when I think Gold Leader, I did not even know who the Battle of Yavin Gold Leader was. I knew that was Lando's call sign in the Battle of Endor. So I was like, oh, Gold Leader, Lando. So I went by Gold Leader for everything. Every like gaming account I've ever used is Gold Leader. No passwords are Gold Leader. Nobody try anything.
When's your birthday while you're at it?
No, it's weird. The third picture in your phone is definitely how you're feeling today. They're trying to get me. So I chose a character who has brazen, idiotic confidence and who wins battles. And he survived. He made it through the whole thing, So that's why I love Lando. He's not like my favorite character or anything, but I liked the name for the whole time. So that's what I wanted.
Fair enough.
Oh, I love that story. Oh, now I know.
I did want to bring up one comment here from another competitor and Mr. Burkett.
Okay.
Hi, Zach.
Oh my God!
Congrats on all your tournament
victories. Got Max
Rebo. Looking forward to a rematch next season. There you go.
Yes, please. Somebody make it happen. Because I know I got caught up in this Thomas rivalry thing, but Zach Burkett is like a blood brother. Like we're like bitter rivals.
They're dyad in the force.
The dyad exactly. Thomas and I are like, it's hard to explain. Thomas is like Palpatine, and I'm like Rey or Kylo, one of the two, and then Zach is like the other one of those two. So he's the big bad. Zach and I are like the sparring buddies, and I really need that to happen again.
Well, if you do make it through the tournament and beat Thomas Harper, when? Excuse me, when?
I'll say if.
When? Then Zach is an amazing competitor. I feel like he can definitely get his way through a tournament and make his way towards that belt. So
Zach is being very overlooked by most
people.
I
100% agree. 100%.
He is a cold-blooded killer, and he doesn't even like to admit it. He's the most soft-spoken dude I've ever met.
Yeah,
he's the sweetest.
Yeah, he really is. He's so very thoughtful, and so. But nobody likes to pay attention to him for some reason. But no, make no mistake, folks. He's a cold-blooded killer. He will rip throats out. And if he had the chance, that's the thing. He would dance on my grave. And in the Star Wars context, not literally. But he would take no. What am I trying to say?
Prisoners?
No. He would spare no time in killing. I guess that's what I'm trying. I don't know what that means. He would kill me.
Let me tell you, I texted him after watching your match and you getting the Kit Fisto question.
Yeah,
he was.
Absolutely. If you see this man's room, he is wall to wall Kit Fisto. I've never seen anyone who loves Kit Fisto as much as Zach Burkett. It's pretty remarkable. I like Kit Fisto as much as the next guy, but like he's gonna get I bet he's gonna get a Kit Fisto tattoo. I guarantee it.
I'm surprised he doesn't already have one.
I know, yeah. He's got a shrine already. Why not just get the permanent? But yeah, no, Kit Fisto's cool.
I wanted to ask, it's because we've talked many times on this channel, and having Molly on here, and obviously Alex popping in as well, and Sean, we've talked about the evolution of these Star Wars questions, not just throughout time of Schmoedown, but specifically this year from the beginning to where we are now. Do you think it's getting to a point where it's like crazies have to enter this league to be able to play this game, or do you still get the fun you had at the beginning, getting all these insane questions that
are you still having fun?
Are you still having a good time?
I don't think I am the competitive type to where like my okay, I'm gonna give you an anecdote. I love the game Soul Calibur 6. Big Soul Calibur 6 fan specifically. Me and a couple of my friends, we played that game straight up for like a year, pretty much every single day. And no matter how many times I was demolished in that game, I kept standing back up because I just loved the competition and knowing that victory would be so sweet once I got it. That's what it's all been about. So I'm the competitive type to where it will never stop being fun. I will keep hitting this paddle ball until the string breaks. And that is, I will never be bored. I'm just destined to continue trying to hurt people for years. And it's certainly the questions are ridiculous. Obviously, I think it's like, so I didn't know. I was like an idiot comparatively at the beginning of this year to where I am now, and like thinking of where it's going to be next year, like it's terrifying.
I don't even want to think about where it's going to be next year. I don't even want to think about it. It's
daunting. It is daunting to say the least, but I'm always up for this. I'm ready for it to, I want, make PJ, if you're listening, I'm scared to say this, but make them even harder. Keep going. Keep going, man. Keep going.
Molly did this at the beginning of the year, and look where we're at now. Now you just double down. Right. Oh man, here we go.
I want to know stunt people, PJ.
Don't do it. No.
No stunt people yet, please.
PJ right now is probably just like throwing his computer across the room.
PJ's scheming. No, he's evil.
Mute him.
Mute him. Yeah, mute him.
Mute him. He can't speak anymore.
Well, okay, that's a good question here. Since I'm on top of the questions here, and I don't think we've gotten your perspective on this, but what do you think about the addition of something like Mandalorian to the division?
Clone Wars, Rebels, etc.
Yeah.
I think just live action.
I have 3 words. Please, God, no. Please do not ever let this happen. Never let a TV show become a part of the Schmoedown, because it's going to be like okay. I've said this before. One season of The Mandalorian is like 4 hours, or not 4 hours. Well, 8 hours. Mm-hmm. It is like 4 movies. And so when you start, we're about to get a 3rd season. When all this starts happening, it's going to be way too much. Like the shows are going to keep getting made. There's so much live action stuff coming out, and it's going to be way too unruly. So if you are going to do the TV shows, might as well do the whole Dragon Con thing. Make it books and stuff. Please don't do that.
Please don't do that.
But I think the lines start to get blurred when you start stepping away from the movies. I'm, 100% into the bounds of the 12 movies. Soon to be, I guess in like 2 years, there'll be a 3rd.
Yeah, there's going to be more of them soon anyway.
Yeah.
There's going to be a movie every 2 years after, I guess, 2023 is when the next one comes out.
And maybe it's just like an immediate addition. As soon as it comes out, boom, like 2 months later,
sure,
it's inside the Schmoedown.
Yeah, I think the rule is like they do, I think it's like 4 months after it's like publicly available.
I think so.
That makes sense.
And they drop on, I'm sure that it'll drop on Disney Plus pretty quickly too. So, I don't want The Mandalorian. I don't want any TV shows because I've seen them, obviously. Like, I love them, but like the amount that I have to study these movies, like the amount of times that I've watched, I've scanned through the Clone Wars movie is insane. Like, nobody making that movie ever knew that would happen. Like, that's
no.
Yeah.
So. And I think a lot of people don't realize that, who are just like casual fans. Like, they don't realize that, especially like any of the divisions in Schmoedown, but especially the Star Wars division, studying for Star Wars is basically a second job.
Yes.
Like, cause you're constant, cause like, it's to the point where like, cause like the singles, you could like watch maybe one movie and then never have to watch it again, and you can kind of retain and then they'll ask a question you can kind of know.
Sure.
Star Wars, they're asking stuff that aren't even in the films.
Right.
And like, you have to pause it and think, Maybe they're gonna ask what the name of this bread is.
Where is this
like,
person from? Yeah.
where are they
Yeah.
from? Where's their home planet? Like,
at no point do you have to know Orson Welles' home planet.
No, you don't.
It's a different ballgame.
It's not even just. It's like researching.
Yeah.
In the Star Wars division, you have to research.
Yep.
You don't have to do that in any of the other divisions. You literally have to research in Star Wars, and I always, anytime we have a Star Wars competitor on, I always just say, y'all are nuts. Y'all are just crazy.
Kind of crazy.
It's like college level Star Wars education. It's
insane.
There should be a textbook. There should be a Schmoedown textbook.
Literally.
And it's hard. It's very hard.
Fair con.
He was just born in the vacuum of space. Yeah.
A lot of people in the chat are actually making the point of it already being in the FCL and that possibly being a little gateway for the Schmoedown. I will just throw my 2 cents in that I don't think that's a gateway.
Yeah.
They're 2 different things. They can do 2 different things.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And Christian said it multiple times as well, but it's not really a minor leagues for the Schmoedown. It's its own thing. It really is its own thing. So they're allowed to do whatever they want, and that doesn't mean it's going to be adapted to the Schmoedown.
Sure.
So.
I also kind of feel like even if it is a gateway, I think that it doesn't necessarily imply that the test worked. Like that they have to keep it in, they have to adapt it or whatever. They tried it, like they're not going to pull it out, this late in the year or anything. But like, even if they didn't think it worked, like they don't have to adapt it into the main Star Wars division.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't want that to happen.
I don't disagree.
Christian's daughter, please. Please tell your father.
Yeah.
Do not.
Yeah.
Okay, so
go ahead, Brian. No, go ahead, Brian.
No, I have a little game I thought we could do. I'm going to give the name of a competitor, and I would like you to tell me who they are in the Star Wars
character. Okay.
Yes. Okay. First, we have Laura.
Laura is okay. Laura is like hard-nosed Imperial officer. Like she's like or First Order officer too. Like I just picture her as like the cold, like menacing. She's okay. Here's what it is. She's oh man, I can't remember her name in Rebels. You remember who I'm talking about? The woman who worked directly beneath
Governor Price.
Price.
Okay, yeah. There's Pride. There's
there's
other
too
ones
many
that are like that.
Yeah.
It's too many.
But Governor Price, exactly. That's who she is. In all the best ways.
Let's go with Sean.
Sean Sullivan.
Yes.
Be nice.
I know.
No. I love Sean. Sean is like a reliable X-wing pilot.
I tell him that.
He's like, I don't know. He's like the background character that you'd be sad when they die. Like he's the, you know what I mean? He's like, man, but I really like this dude.
He's the lovable character that you
So
can
Snap Wexley.
Yeah,
right.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I'll do a Snap Wexley.
Exactly. I think that's perfect.
We'll go with Molly.
Dark Ray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a setup.
I love the no hesitation on
Yeah,
that.
no,
I was like, oh, when they ask Molly, I have to say that.
DeMolanta. Andrew
DeMolanta. Andrew DeMolanta is like okay. He's like a really good bounty hunter. Like he's like I don't know. Okay, let me think of the lineup. He's like, I don't want to say he's like a robot because he's not like a robot. That's not what I'm. He's Bosk. Let's go Bosk.
He's Bosk. Love it.
Yeah, deadly.
Love it.
All right, we'll end with someone who clearly talks a lot about you, but I haven't seen in the chat. But Thomas.
Thomas who?
Oh, Thomas Harper. I
don't know who that is.
Okay.
I don't know who that is. Let's. We'll do. I don't know, like a background rebel resistance officer. I don't know, someone not important or consequential. Buford, the resistance loading droid. Buford. that is Thomas.
Oh, that's good.
I always pictured him as excuse me, as Lobot.
Oh my gosh,
That's good. Well, I did want to finish this interview off with just asking about the match that you do have coming up, which will be either against Alex Damon or Nikki DiMolanta.
Yeah.
How do you feel going into the tournament final? It could be against a former champ like Alex or Nikki, who is the wife of a former champ who just came out of nowhere recently and is currently undefeated. How are you feeling going into that one?
So I'm very excited to see who this is. I've said before, I really want to play Alex coming up. I would love for that to happen because I've been calling him out for this whole time. But also, if I were just a regular watcher, I would be wanting Nikki to win this match because the rally is like, it's happened a few times. It happened with Thomas, which, I do know who he is.
Oh.
Yeah. It happened almost with me to that extent. And then it's happening with Nikki right now. And it's like, I want her to keep going, not at my expense, but I want her to keep going because the rally is powerful. It's so much like the momentum of it is really exciting.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I'm terrified either way. I mean, I'm okay. What I don't show, I am, the brazen, cocky gold leader, but I'm a nervous wreck most of my life. So I'm petrified. I just want to know who it is, and it's not going to affect anything like the way I study, but like, just please, I just need to know. I want to see this thing happen. It comes out tomorrow on Patreon.
I need tomorrow on Patreon. 24 more, like less than that. You got like 18 hours to go.
Yeah.
And then
it's gonna be a bloodbath either way. I don't think it's gonna be a clean match. And I'm
just if it is Alex, I'm just so excited for those promos because
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure they would just pull up your audition tape from the archives of where you're like calling.
They call it back. Yeah, no, it's Nerd Chronic. Eric.
Oh, Eric. Yeah.
Eric sees everything, and
I guess he does.
He sees all.
If that gets used again, that's the longest shot that I've ever had to playing Alex because I've been calling it since January. So if that could happen, that'd be crazy aim to be able to predict that happening. But yeah, that'd be great. Anyone will play.
I don't know if we asked this to you back in January,
Okay.
but we have a POV question here we ask all our guests. And just in case, we like to ask everybody, since movies bring us together, do you have a favorite candy and a favorite movie snack?
Okay. You did ask me this, but I think my answer might change.
Okay.
So I think I might have said Sour Patch Kids.
Okay.
But mostly I've felt like my inner old man coming back. So I always go for like, let me get a pack of peanut M&Ms.
I love those.
I love peanut M&Ms. So we get a peanut M&Ms and a Diet Coke, please. That's me on Welfare Tuesday at the movie theater, by all means. So yeah, that's one thing. And favorite movie snack. I don't know. I have a hard time viewing these as two different things.
They could be the same.
I said popcorn before, so I'm not.
Fine.
I'm gonna be different. If the popcorn is out, that would never happen. I'm gonna get me a Nathan's hot dog.
Yeah,
In the concession. It's good. It's
Underrated.
I dig
classic.
it.
Love it.
Yeah,
Love it.
That's me. A hot dog and some peanut M&Ms, folks. That's what everyone's been anticipating. They're wondering, has his answer changed? But yeah.
Well, Gold Leader, can't thank you enough for stopping by, hanging out with us for a little bit. We really appreciate it. Glad to talk to you after such a long time. And
Here,
not just
Real quick, yeah.
Oh, there you go. Dots and Hots.
Dots and
Hey,
Hot.
guys from Cornwall. A little late listening tonight. Gold Leader, you've been a favorite to watch this season, bro. Rooting for you to go all the way and claim more of your color.
Gold.
More gold.
Gold, baby.
More gold.
All right, guys, I'm going to get back to studying.
Yeah, seriously. Good luck with that. And we can't wait to see your match either against Alex or Nikki. That'll be fun.
Well, I'm excited, folks. Well, you take it easy. You guys have a great night. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you again.
Thanks
Have a good
for
night.
having me on.
Of course.
All right.
All right.
Have a good night.
See ya.
Bye. Oh, that was fun. Oh, I'm so close. Oh, there we go.
There we go. No, that was fun. That was good to talk to him after. I mean, we haven't had him on since like the beginning of January.
It's been a hot second.
It's been a long time, and he was literally like the epitome of what an unknown was. Coming into the Schmoedown. He was literally a no one, and
I literally remember us saying like, "Who's this guy calling out Alex Damon?
Well,
like, who does he think he is?"
I was going to ask him too, but we kind of just got into some good conversation there. But I remember him on our first when we had him on. He was saying, he kept saying like, "Oh, like I'm not comfortable doing this like on camera and everything." And now look at him; he's just like all suave with the jacket and everything. He's really grown.
So confident now.
Really grown. Yeah. No, that was fun.
So yeah, being the evil Imperial officer is the most dead on pinpoint I've ever heard.
100%. And the price call was a great call.
That was so good.
And there he is. I'll be on every show from now on, guys.
He's the fifth member.
Perfect. But yeah, that was great. Thank you again, Gold Leader. We appreciate it. But let's get into some Schmoedown stuff because we have a lot to talk about. We have 3 matches to discuss on our way out of here in the next 30 to 45 minutes or so. We're going to start with Friday's day's match. We're going to go in order. And we're going to start with David Del Rio and James White. And this was a doozy. This was a really, really, really good match. We were all kind of split on where this one would be going. They were very evenly matched going in. And on a wild final 2 questions of this match, David Del Rio walks away with the victory on this one. And he knocks James White and part of Corruption out of this tournament. Brian, I'm going to start with you first because I know you were struggling with this one because of James and how well David has been playing as well. What did you think about this match, man? Because this was like a perfect lead-in to the pay-per-view on Friday.
Yeah, I was struggling because I'm pulling for the dungeon to win the faction championship, but I love James. I've liked James since we first met him last year, and I feel like he is someone that deserves more recognition than he says or than he gets. And to me personally, I think he had control of this match pretty much the whole entire time until the very end. I will say this, they were very evenly matched. Like,
I think James was up by 2 after the first.
He was up by 2 in the first.
And then he was only up by 1 going into the third.
Yeah, it was close. But poor James, like, he just gets right there. And then something happens.
I think this happened last year, right? Where he lost to Bibbs and Bibbs had to answer his 5, right?
Yeah.
I think so.
He gets right there.
Yeah.
And then something happens and it breaks my heart because the man loves it clearly. And he's got a freaking giant wall of movies behind him.
He's really good at Back to the Future trivia.
Yeah, very good. So yeah, I mean, like I said, I obviously wanted dungeon points, but like, you know, you have your favorites that you pull for. So I was hoping James was gonna pull through and win this one, but yeah, so close, so freaking close. But Del Rio looked great. I mean,
he's really scary.
He
is.
When he's on, he's on. I mean, he wasn't like laser, like perfect every question, but I mean, it was still good enough to win. So,
well, he took dramas in the second round, which is a very broad category.
Yeah.
And then obviously not necessarily a mistake, but just kind of maybe a wrong strategic move is giving James Reese Witherspoon. And he did really good in Reese Witherspoon. Like he worked himself through that category very nicely on opponent's choice, kept him in the game. But yeah, Del Rio, man, he is. We said it, I think we talked about it last year when he played Chance in the tournament, right? He played Chance. He looked great in the tournament. Yeah. Chance ended up beating him, but it was by a very narrow margin. And then he's been playing great all year long. And he only seems to be getting a little bit better. And he's been playing better players as he's been going along. Mm-hmm. James is a very strong player. He doesn't have a record that shows that, but he's played some really, really good opponents. And he's also ran into some bad luck. He gets an incredible 5-point pull in this one. And then Del Rio just does the same thing. He pulls an incredible Quentin Tarantino 5-point question as well that had nothing to do with the Quentin Tarantino directed film. Like that's a wild question to get for your 5-point in a Quentin Tarantino category. I do feel it for James. I really do. It's a bummer because the season's over. And I hope we see him next year. I hope someone gives him a chance. If it's not corruption, more than likely it won't be corruption.
This man should not have been drafted in the round that he was drafted.
He was in the last round. He was picked up in the last round, and he made it to the second round of the singles tournament and got beaten by a guy who, like Brian's saying, is possible comeback player of the year if he continues what he's doing. He's a sleeper in this tournament, David Del Rio.
He was that. I mean, the excuse of people saying like, "Oh, he's busy," it doesn't work for him.
Yeah,
it doesn't, because he'll come out and beat you no matter what, like when, where, whatever. He's good. I mean, think of it this way: if Kate would have kept him, he's got 2 wins under Kaiser that he could have shifted towards the den. I mean, and he's playing.
Del Rio's playing Bibbs next.
Bibbs. If he beats Bibbs, like,
yep, that's big.
Yeah.
Jill, I got a question for you though.
Yes.
Because more than likely next season, if from what we know, James won't be a part of corruption. He probably needs someone who is willing to give him as many matches as possible, right? Because he only seems to have like 4 matches under his belt in 2 years.
Unfortunately,
right?
yeah.
Right? Like he doesn't feel like he has a lot of experience when he should be getting all kinds of matches.
And I 100% agree. And what's going to be really interesting about next season is that obviously from what we're hearing is that like the drafted roster is going to be just sliced by like 60%.
Yeah.
So, which scares me for players like James, and also honestly with players like Del Rio, because like,
good point.
I don't even know if Del Rio is going to get drafted.
That's a really good point
Next season,
that's a really good
point.
It's
one of these things where it's these players that are really good. They're just always overlooked by like maybe the bigger personalities or the people that have just more consistent matches. Because we really only ever see Del Rio and James in tournaments. That's pretty much it.
You took exactly what I was about to say. James has not had a typical player upbringing. The man only gets to play in tournaments. And if you have one game where you lose, you're done.
You're done. That's
if he was playing in a normal MTS like season, I think his his record would be drastically different.
Yes, I agree.
He had 2 matches, non-tournament matches this year, but they were 6 months apart from each other.
That's insanity. And so that's going to be really interesting. That's going to be what's really interesting about next season is that I don't know what's going to happen to these players. And it's unfortunate because there's a lot of fantastic players that are honestly fan favorites that probably won't be on a faction next season.
Oh, absolutely.
Do you think James is one of those one man rosters just kind of playing matches?
Like a rogue?
Like a rogue.
Like a rogue player? I would hope so. I would hope so because I've said this every time I talk about James, I say the same thing. I'm a broken record when it comes to James, but he was dealt the worst luck of anyone in the Schmoedown that I know of. Dude literally landed for free for all after he was like the number 1, number 2 draft pick for the Droogs back in the
I think he was the 2nd overall pick for the Droogs, the 1st in the 2nd round, I believe.
Yeah, like high up there. And so, touted as this like really great player. He landed in LAX when the shutdown happened and free for all was announced for not happening. And like, so he was supposed to have, this kind honestly, he was supposed to have like a Brendan Meyer type of, career where he was going to free for all. It was going to be his breakout moment. And he probably would have, like, he probably could potentially have the career that Brendan Meyer has right now, had things been different. So it's just really unfortunate. Like, it's so next year is just going to be all kinds of wacky crazy because I don't know where these players are going to go. So we'll see. you know.
Yeah,
we'll see what
James has
happens.
played some great people too. Bibbs.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Paul.
Like, and he's taken them. He's never been like wrecked. Like he's
No.
never been destroyed. He takes them to the 5. And even in this one, David was like stunned. You could tell he was stunned. He got his 5-pointer right. He straight up guessed. You could just tell.
I mean, they both have played. I just looked at both their full-time rosters. David's played Whitney, Liz, Paul Preston, Chance, Frank Moran, Liz again, and James. And James has played. They both played Frank Moran. Frank Moran, Bibbs, Preston, Brittany Young, and David Del Rio. They have played virtually the same exact people.
Yeah.
Minus like 1 or 2.
So
that's why I said earlier they're very similar on the opponent or the player aspect.
I hope, if anything, that he is a rogue agent. That's what I'm just going to call him, a rogue agent from now on.
I hope so too.
I hope some faction maybe takes a chance on him, because I know that there's a couple factions that I would think are going to do a complete turnover from what they have on their rosters, and there's a possibility James lands on there. I would also love to see James in a team setting. I think he could be really good in teams, and maybe just pair him with that right partner. But if he's a rogue agent, he is someone who can damage some factions going for that title. In that, because I know factions are essentially going to be considered another division next year, and he can cause a little chaos between all those people fighting for those points.
Yeah,
and eventually get picked up at any point during the year. That's possible too.
Yep.
And so there's a lot of possibilities for him. I think he's better to stay in this than go down to something like the FCL, even though it is much more digital, much more fitting for him. I think James would find a way here every single time to compete Schmoedown.
I think so too.
And I think Del Rio, the changes works well for him.
It's all based on schedule for him. So
a schedule type thing. So I think it works a little bit more in his favor next year.
I think like when Christian created this factions and rogue agents, David Del Rio is the prime example of what a rogue can be. Someone whose schedule is very busy but still wants to compete 1 or 2 matches during the year, right? Have a little fun, do his thing, but he doesn't have to worry about the burden of getting points for a faction.
Yeah.
Right. So,
or losing points for a faction.
Exactly. Good point. All right, let's get to this pay-per-view, because this Battlefield event was very big. This was a big one. Actually, real quick. Galaxy Geeks brought up a question I wanted to ask here. It was kind of veering for what we were talking about, but it's a big question. So I got a question for everyone. Is the Chandru match going to happen?
This year? I don't think this year. If it does happen, I don't think it's going to be this year.
Do you think Paul actually has given him that title shot?
I haven't heard anything yet, Jake, so I honestly don't know, and it's driving me nuts. I don't know what is happening.
But if you had like, if someone were asking you, hey, Jill, do you really think Paul gave Chandru his title shot?
Heck no.
Okay, that's what I thought.
No. I could totally see Chandru just doing his thing. I'm in New York. I'm just gonna dance my way upstage and just say, "Hey, I'm gonna take that title defense." I
feel like. So no, I don't think Paul gave it away. I feel like it might be playing into some storyline where Chandru is once again going rogue and trying to take things that don't belong to him.
Ooh.
And that's not going to end well for him.
I love Khan. No, next question.
Yeah, no, seriously. I don't think Paul worked really hard for that. In that moment, moment, I mean, we were all watching together the free-for-all. We saw what it was like for him to win that, the reaction he had.
Yep.
He's not giving that up.
You don't bust your ASS to win something like that and be like, all right, here you go, my champion.
Here you go. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting.
I will say the thing
Paul plays this week, I believe. This week or next week?
This week, because it's the last round.
Yeah, so some people are saying it. Hopefully, it's mentioned in the post interview or something. I'm not sure.
I will say this: the thing that made me think it was not going to happen was the amount of times that Christian asserted Parker versus Kalinowski, and the fact that Parker jumped into their post interview.
Yeah.
You can't take away the chance of having Kalinowski Parker
No.
as your headlining IG matches.
This is 2 years in the making.
And I know Chandru is just as good as a competitor, but it's
Yeah.
Kalinowski Parker. Like, it's old age versus new age. Like, that's what you want. You
Mhm.
can't take that away. You can't.
Yeah.
And we've already seen Chandru Kalinowski. Like, come on. Let's just move on. Let's move on.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to the pay-per-view. And we started with the match that has been hyped up for so long. It's been talked about. It's been wanted. It happened on the show last week. Frankie Alvarez and Rick Raddus finally went down in this pay-per-view event in the live setting in the cantina. And walking away with the victory is the Rager, Rick Raddus. The Exchange getting some points up against Sam Levine and the Suspects in a very rough match, I will say.
On both ends.
I'll say this. It didn't live up to the expectations I was hoping it would. It was a very rough start. They both missed the first 2 questions. It was like
3, I thought.
No, I think Rick got the third one or something.
Oh,
like
was
that.
it? Okay.
It was like 5-4 after the first round. Frankie stays with the category he thinks he does well in. He doesn't do very well in. Rick didn't have the hottest second round either. Ultimately, it came down to Frankie's 5-pointer. He misses. Rick takes the victory on this one. And Exchange gets more points from a rookie who is 3-0 now. And
Is
I think
he's 3-0.
He's
God, I'm
3-0,
way
yeah.
off on my numbers.
He held a
tonight.
sign up. It's 3-0.
Yeah, he's 3-0. Jill, I'll start with you on this one. Alvarez, Raddus, did it live up to the hype? And what?
I mean, I'm gonna quote pretty much what Ellis and Christian were saying when they were announcing it. It definitely wasn't, like a barn burner, or it wasn't like this big huge point getting, but it was a fight. It was definitely a fight between the two of them. Like, was it a good performance from either of the competitors?
Yeah. It's not always
their best.
pretty. It's not always pretty.
It wasn't pretty, but it was a fight. Like, it really, while yes, they both kind of underperformed, it literally could have gone either way the entire match. Like, they were basically like 1 or 2 points after round 1. They each got a steal off each other, I think, in round 2. So it was just this constant battle, and but even though it wasn't a big, huge point getting match, it was entertaining as heck. And I think sometimes we do need those matches. Like, you can still have an entertaining match without it being like a 25-25, scoring match. It could be in the teens and still be a good time, which I felt this match was. I feel like that they definitely built up the rivalry. I think they will still have a rivalry come next season. I thought it was a lot of fun. I did think it was a lot of fun. I mean, boxed wine is great.
I mean, that's definitely enough of a reason for Molly to not.
For Molly, yeah. We love a good boxed wine. But yeah, I think it met the hype with the amount of character work that we saw in that match, and it was entertaining and it was fun, and they were constantly giving jabs to each other. Performance-wise, it was fine. But it was
the
fun
first
match.
time in that kind of setting for both of them.
Yeah.
Which might have played into a little bit. Just maybe a little nerves. The match that is finally here. They've been talking about it for so long.
It happens.
But yeah, you're right. It's not always pretty. We've seen knockdown, drag out fights before, and this is definitely one of those. Raddus, he improves to 3-0. His season is over because this wasn't a tournament match. This was just a match, and he is now in contender for Rookie of the Year because he went undefeated on the year. Like, he went undefeated on the year. That's big. That's really big. And he's been calling out Frankie for a long time, and it just. He did what he set out to be. And so big congrats to him. It was a bummer maybe seeing so many missed questions between the two of them, but sometimes that happens. And I think it definitely lived up to something. And I'm happy that match is finally over because all the chaos they created online. So it was definitely a lot at times. Brian, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much echo everything you guys both said. Nothing really new to add to it. You guys kind of took every single point I was going to make. So, I mean, yeah, it was pretty much exactly what you guys have been saying. I would have never in a million years said it coming out of this season that Rick the Rager Raddus would be walking out 4-0.
No.
Yeah. Well,
Or 3-0. 3-0.
3-0.
3-0. I don't know why my brain keeps saying 4.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's always a possibility he gets another match. There is. The season's not over.
Yeah.
So, we'll see. But more than likely, this is probably the end of his year because so much is happening, and we are wrapping up fairly quickly here. November is just right around the corner.
I just think
you're right.
The thing for me that is the most interesting is, does someone next season keep him 3-0, expecting him? Because I mean, you've got to almost kind of think of it, in my opinion, this way with factions. Like, you got to get people that you can count on to bank to get you wins and points. I mean, yes, I know that they'll eventually pick up people or whatever, but you don't know how that's going to work quite yet, probably. Does someone keep him at 3-0 over some of these? There's some names that will probably get dropped for people like Rick, who had a 3-0 season this year. It's interesting. I'm curious to see if he is a kept man or is going to end up rogue at 3-0.
Do you want to hear my really lame reasoning as to why I think he'll be kept?
Why?
I think you and I are on the same page.
He has his own theme music.
Yeah.
That's fair.
That's I know it's a really, really dumb thing to say that, but like, if you have your own theme music, like, you're a personality, and that's big.
But let's look at it this way. Do you see anyone other than Gucci keeping him?
No, I think Gucci keeps him.
Okay. So that's one of
I think at this moment, if I had to throw it out, I think Gucci keeps Newman. I think he keeps Barbarian.
Is Barbarian your IG person?
Probably. Khan, Rager, and Gold Leader are his 5.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's someone on there that I've left out. I mean, Ty's left out, obviously, which is a bummer, but I think those are probably the ones that I think Rager is included for sure.
I will say my favorite thing was of this match was watching just Gucci not being able to like stop laughing or smirking every single time Rick did anything.
Yeah.
Like, and he was like sitting on the bar, like laying on it.
I love how they even commented. I love how Gucci makes his player come to him.
Yeah. Mark said that. Yeah. All right. Well, let's get to the big one, the main event of the night, a match we've been waiting quite a while for. Mike Kalinowski put his belt on the line once again.
Really quickly to Gordon and Hotbit, I think JT is rogue next year.
I think JT is rogue
because of his schedule. I think JT is definitely rogue. Yeah, or maybe he's picked. Someone takes a chance on him. There's definitely a possibility someone takes a chance on him. So look, Mike Kalinowski puts his belt on the line up against rookie sensation Amaru Moses, a guy who was picked 2nd overall in the draft this year out of everybody after the free agents, and he is currently going undefeated in this match. And my goodness, was this a match. This was a back and forth fight from the very beginning. It proved to be the championship match that we were expecting and hoping for. And there's a reason why I put it in the title of this video, but Amaru had his chance and he lived up to every chance he had. He showed everybody who he really is and what kind of IG player he is, and he will definitely be back in that situation. But Mike defends once again, keeps that belt. He is going to Spectacular, and we are getting Kalinowski Parker 1 at Spectacular live in downtown Los Angeles. It's going to be awesome. But let's talk about this because this was a barn burner from the very beginning. And it looked like Rue was going to pull it out in that 3rd round. It looked like he was going to have it, and Kalinowski was sitting there waiting, and it fell into his lap. Who wants to start? Because this is just, who wants to start?
He was so close. I was sitting there like, come on, Rue. I was like, yeah. I was so bummed. It's funny because I was thinking to myself, I was like, Rue dominated that match. And then I was like, you know what? Mike pretty much minus like one or two things, like they almost kind of played identical.
Just the speed round.
Yeah, exactly. So it's weird for me, and this could just be a little bit of favoritism, even though they were like pretty much equal throughout that whole entire match. Like, in my opinion, again, this is my opinion, I felt like Rue had the momentum the majority of that game. And that's just me.
I think it swung in the speed round for me. That's why I think he had the momentum in round 4 and 5. I think it was like dead even going in like after round 3. Once the speed round hit, it totally swung in Rue's favor.
Yeah. Emmanuel, I know. I see you. I see you. Yeah. Man. I mean, listen. Sam taking him at number 2 paid dividends this year.
100%.
Paid dividends with or without that belt. If he would have had that belt, it would have just been like a chess move from Sam. It didn't work out that way, but in no way, shape, or form was that ever a bad move this year to take him where he took him.
Mm-hmm.
It paid off. And it's funny because some of the earliest picks were rookies and it paid off.
Yeah.
So sometimes you take a gamble and it plays into your favor. Rue was absolutely one of those gambles that paid off. And I think you could see a relationship of Sam and Rue for a while.
Well, I think he's a suspect for a long time, and it's not because of Sam, it's because of Rachel Cushing. I don't know if you guys caught the quick second she was actually in the pay-per-view, but she was standing next to Chandru, and she was going crazy and in it just as much as she was when she was playing because Rue was playing, and that's her IG player. That's her IG player.
Going up against one of her best friends.
Exactly.
She was like, go Rue.
It's funny. You said both of you saying that because I was sitting there when I first saw her, I was like, ooh, who is she pulling for? Is it going to be Mike or is she going to pull for Rue? And then you could clearly see she was pulling for Rue. 100%. And I was like, damn. 100%. Like,
yeah.
You could see Rue as like her protege in a way, like because obviously because it's Sam, obviously Rachel's going to be there for all of the IG study sessions because she is an IG legend. So you can, I could see it as definitely being like this is my Padawan. Like I am going to train him and he is going to be under my wing. So heck yeah.
And also ruin that Lord of the Rings.
I was just going to say the only reason why he was in that match is Rachel is the reason why he was in that match because Lord of the Rings. I guarantee it. I guarantee you those answers and that round is a completely Rachel move. 100%.
I'm sure he knew a good chunk of it, but I'm sure she definitely like battened down the hatches on Lord of the Rings. Because I'll be honest, when I saw Lord of the Rings come up, I went, oh, crap.
Yeah.
And then he did it, and I was like, whoa. Like, anytime anyone does Lord of the Rings well, I'm shocked. Anyone. It could be literally anyone. I'm like, Lord of the Rings is just something I will never grasp. So it's impressive that he played very well.
There's also another big factor in all this. Jill officially took over first place in fantasy because of this match.
Suck it, Frank.
You know what? I don't care who wins as long as Frank doesn't win. That's want Frank to lose.
I'm still mad he didn't answer my phone call during happy hour.
He knew.
Well, he texted me right away and he was like, "What's up?" And I'm like, "I'm live on happy hour. Why didn't you answer my call?" He's like, "I'm out. What do you want?" As Frankie does, you know. And I'm like, I'm ahead of you in fantasy. He's like, "Oh, so all of a sudden it matters now." And I'm like, "You." But also, yes.
You should try to see if you can like somehow.
I'm gonna post it this week just because Jill's in first place.
No, you should see like the next rundown if Brad can sneak you in the back and be like,
"Yeah, just message Brad and be like,
second place.
I heard you're losing in fantasy now."
Just come in, just pop in. Oh, hey, second place. How's it?
What's up? And then just disappear in a cloud of smoke.
Yeah. Look, this match though. I mean, range of emotions. Mike and I. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. I think Mike is the first ever IG competitor to defend twice.
Yep.
Correct.
And it's one of the hardest divisions to do it in.
I would hopefully at some point we get the chance to talk to him on the show because I really would love to ask him. I feel like this has been his most taxing year because of the competition he's had to face.
Mm-hmm.
Taxing, but most rewarding.
Well, yes, but look, Chandru, Mara, Amaru, and now Parker are the 4 people he's going to have to face this year, and all belt matches, all of them. That is insanity.
Yeah,
absolutely insanity. The roster that, and if he beats Parker, best Schmoedown year of all time.
You could go and say best IG player of all time.
Well, I'm just saying like the best Schmoedown season, like possibly the best Schmoedown season someone has ever had. Defended the belt 3 times up against.
You'd have to compare it to someone like a Merle.
Like that is. Like wow, that would be a year if that actually happened. I mean, either way, it's a year. Like it's a crazy. Look, he made the history books. He defended he's the first ever person to defend the IG belt twice in a row or twice overall. It's already a year in itself. But if he beats Parker and defends again, that's a year right there.
We'll see if he beats Parker.
Well, he's not going to beat Parker because Parker's
We'll see if he beats Parker.
Parker's getting that belt.
Let's see what position Jill will be sitting in when that time comes around.
Well, publicly one thing, privately another thing.
Probably, yeah. Probably.
That'll be a fun weekend. That little time.
Yeah. But look, big shout out to Rue. I mean, look, his season's over, unfortunately. But what a rookie year he had. He gets all the way to the title shot, loses to legend and Mike Kalinowski on the slightest of margins.
The slightest.
Yeah. Definitely.
A question takes that belt.
He deserves a notch in his belt for being one of the only players to beat Kalinowski in the speed round.
That's a very good point. That is a very good point.
That's hard to do.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah.
That round was impressive.
That was insane. Well, because I was at the cantina that day, but unfortunately had to leave early, so I couldn't be there for this match. So Parker was texting me and giving me updates, and I remember him texting me because I was like, because it was basically back and forth through round 2, and then I was like, oh, this is gonna switch real quickly with the speed round because it's Kalinowski. You know, you're gonna think that because it's Kalinowski, and he texted me and he was like, Rue beat him in the speed round. I literally said, holy ish. Like, I was like, oh my God. Like,
the man had some speed hands.
That's like that. Just that in itself is something you need to. Yes, he didn't get the W that day. He played had he gotten another 5-pointer, this could have gone a very different way.
100%.
You beat Kalinowski in the speed round, Amaru. You deserve a notch in your belt for that one.
Yeah,
100%.
That's hard to do. So congratulations on that, and I'm very excited to see you because you're going to be back next season. Let's be honest. You'll be in the suspects for a while.
They said 66 spots. You can sign, seal, deliver. That one of those spots is his.
Yep.
That's
look for another 65 because he's.
We'll see you next season, Rue, for sure.
Fun fact. I don't know if anybody saw this on Twitter because Shannon Barney posted something, but Corruption defeated the Fan League 4.
I did.
I don't know if you guys saw that graphic. Classic Shannon Barney, and it was great.
Shannon.
It was really, really good. But yeah, no, look, Rue, congratulations on your success this year. Kalinowski, if you ever watch this or listen to this, I don't know. But big kudos to you, man. I can't wait to see what you do at Spectacular. You and Parker's going to be incredible. That's going to be an incredible match. We're going to be there. That's going to be awesome. POV House just got a lot more stressful.
It did.
Parker.
We're gonna have to have a POV House study session.
Oh man, that's
we're gonna have to cut.
You might not be allowed to be there, Jill. Just saying.
We got to make sure Parker eats good in the morning, a good breakfast. He has a good morning, good workout, or whatever he's got to do. Yeah. We got to prepare him. But
we won't party too hard the night before. At least he won't.
Yeah. All right,
we're
everybody.
Gonna just be like, what is the Stars movie?
What's the name of the twins in Harry Potter?
Yes.
Really dumb freaking question.
Gordon, that's a really good comment because that's actually going to be happening in the off season. That'll be happening in the off season.
That'll be an off season.
Between December and January, those about 6 weeks or so in the off season, we will be doing that for the factions. So stay tuned. And Nussbaum, yes, that will be happening.
Yeah. You'll have at least 4 different people.
There's going to be a lot of footage and probably a lot of footage that ends up getting cut because of certain reasons. But
release the POV cut.
Maybe a Patreon only release that's not public. So
okay.
We'll see.
That's fair.
Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for tonight, everybody. I do want to we have a couple plugs. I want to get to this one first because it has to do with our Patreon, but we are doing our monthly watch along tomorrow.
What are you watching?
And I will announce which one we are doing because the poll is officially closed at this moment in time. And Chuck checked at the beginning of the stream, and it is still correct. We are watching Trick or Treat tomorrow. We are watching Trick or Treat tomorrow, the Halloween classic that a lot of people adore this time of the year. It was going up against The Conjuring.
Is it a scary movie?
Trick or Treat?
It's
not like oh my god.
It's not a horror film, but for some people it might have horror moments.
It's not a slasher, is it?
It's a spooky. Movie.
Yeah, I'll withhold all comments.
Damn it.
It won the poll 13-10. It beat The Conjuring, so we will be watching Trick or Treat tomorrow. If you are interested, for $2, you can join us for a watch along, hang out with us. And if you are part of our $20 tier, you actually get a chance to join us on screen while we watch it. So we'll be doing that 6:00 Pacific tomorrow, which will be a good time. And then Jill, we also have a plug for some of our friends over from Down Under.
We do, and they also had a really fun stream over the weekend, and they are officially
we did.
They're making their butts over here to Spectacular, so cheers to that. But yes, they are doing their amazing bracket show again. It is back tonight. They're back again with their obviously amazing guests. I think I saw Marisol on there, Mara. I think
I have it. Where is it? We have Mara, we have Jesse, Marisol, Adam, and Jesse's wife. So I'm sure someone else will pop in there at some point too, just because they always have random guests as well. So, but there you go. Mm-hmm. I'm sure Dan will be there with Mara, so that makes sense.
Yeah, it's a fun little show. Go watch.
Yeah. They have a good time over there. It's a lot of fun. They have a great set over there. And Tim Franco, thank you, Tim, for clarifying that. There you go. It is a horror film, Jake. Not super scary. It's a lot of fun. So there you go. It's kind of the in-betweener. But for Brian, it might be a little too scary, but we'll find out. Tim, just so you know, Brian jumped at the title card for The Cabin in the Woods. So there you go.
I had headphones on. It started
a year ago. We watched The Cabin in the Woods, and Brian jumped at the title card.
I had headphones on, and it startled me.
So yeah, check that out. Patreon link is in the description. Rachel, if you just want to post that one time for the chat.
Isn't there one more fun special thing we're doing this week?
I was getting to that.
I know. I was leading you up. I'm hyping it up.
So we don't only have just our reactions this week, which we'll be doing on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, TBD as usual. On Thursday, we are doing our bar movie trivia this month, and we are doing it on the Scream series. We will be doing it on all 4 Scream movies. It is bar movie trivia, super, super fun. And I can say this, we have some incredible special guests. Some incredible.
We had to like bat them off with a stick.
Yeah, we had
We did.
some great people reach out, and we've locked down a couple people that are going to have a lot of fun on this trivia on Thursday. That'll happen immediately after our reaction on Thursday night. Expect a party for this one because there are some people who reached out who are very excited for this. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. Again, part of the Patreon. If you're part of the $10 and $20 tiers, you can take part. We write the questions. We have a lot of fun, and we do it over a Zoom call. It's a blast. So stay tuned for that as well. Maybe we'll release those publicly one day, but we'll see. But anyway, for all of us here at POV.
Also, real quick, good luck, Brennan, in the Star Wars.
Yeah, take that belt.
Take the Alvarez zone. One of our own, Brennan Mars, going for that Star Wars title. Cannot wait. Cannot wait to see what he does against JC Reifenberg, putting the title on the line. Brennan's taking that belt. He's taking
that belt.
But let's just do some quick plugs real quick before we get out of here. I'll let you guys plug your personal stuff. Brian, start us off.
Volcano on Twitter and Apocalypse Movies. Where
What are we doing on Tuesday?
I don't have to ask because I already know what this guy wants to do on Tuesday, which is Dune.
It's not just that. You should have asked me because you're wrong.
Well, that's what we probably should be doing is just
Wow.
Dune.
Wow.
We are doing we're doing a Dune spoiler discussion, but we are also going to be ranking Denis Villeneuve's films.
I've only seen like 2 of
So
them.
we're doing a full ranking of his movies on top of a Dune discussion. So, Tim, I don't know if I can do 25 movie Bond trivia. That's ridiculous. So we'll see. Jill, what about you?
Didn't we just say the other day like you and someone else wanted to?
Well, me, Keith, and Tim, we're gonna do a ranking
of it. That's what it was.
Jilly Marie, 2 Y's, 2 E's on Twitter and Instagram. You can also sometimes catch me doing post interviews for the Schmoedown. So make sure to always watch to the end because a lot of people put in a lot of hard work to do this nonsense, and they all need their credits due. So
Money.
always make sure to watch till the end. And yeah.
Gordon, you're wrong. You're wrong, Gordon.
You don't know.
You're wrong.
Brian is a
Gordon.
monster of a Star Wars person.
You're
so.
wrong. Well, you know why it's not going to be leaving Scum and Villainy, Gordon? Because Brennan's going to take Scum and Villainy from JC.
He's going to take the whole bar.
That's what's going to happen.
Yeah,
Okay?
that's how it works. The FCL, like when he holds that belt,
It's in the
bar is on
contract.
line. Yep.
You'll just open the bar afterward.
You can find me at Qui-Gon Jake, 2 N. Someone else took it before I did. Schmoedown POV on Twitter and Streamlabs. Just all that stuff, guys.
Are you getting drunk this week on your Whiskey Jedi or no?
Yes, it depends on the day. I got a lot going on this week. I'm going to be talking about Anakin and Ahsoka. That's what's going to be happening. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, thank you to everyone who's with us tonight. A big shout out to Gold Leader for stopping by as well. And we look forward to seeing you guys the rest of the week. Have a good night, everybody.
Bye.